There is a voice you've never heard, and yet it is speaking about you. Not in anger, not in hate, but in the aching honesty that only rises when the door shuts and your footsteps fade down the hall. When she thinks no one is listening, when the lights are low and the world has grown quiet, that's when the truth comes out. I tell you today, there are words she will never say when you're near. Not because she's hiding something, but because she's hoping, praying, that one day she won't have to. This is not a message of judgment. This is a message of awakening. Before you scroll, before you tune out, ask yourself one thing. What if what she admits when you're not around is the very thing that could save your relationship, your marriage, your home, your heart? Don't turn away, watch, listen. This might be the first time you've truly heard her. She doesn't raise her voice. She lowers her expectations. She doesn't walk out the door. She walks into herself. You might think everything is fine. She's still cooking, still cleaning, still smiling. But when you're not around, she whispers to the walls, I feel invisible. Friend, God did not create woman to be invisible. He created her to be seen, honored, loved as a partner, not a shadow in her own home. She's not just asking for help. She's asking for presence. There's a difference between a man who works all day and returns home in body, and a man who brings his heart home. When you're not around, she doesn't complain about the dishes. She says, I wish he would look me in the eyes and actually see me. Brothers, are we present in the moment or just passing through? Your phone, your job, your hobbies. She doesn't want to be another notification. She longs to be your priority, not your routine. When you're not around, she tells her journal. Sometimes, I wonder if he'd even notice if I stopped trying. And the truth is, if you're waiting until she gives up to wake up, you may already be too late. That anniversary you brushed off, that compliment you never gave, that apology you never made. When you're not around, she whispers to her sister, her friend, or God himself. He remembers every stat from last night's game, but not the last time he made me feel beautiful. Let me tell you, words matter. Memory matters. She matters. This is the part that will break you. In her quiet, lonely honesty, she still says, I know he could be more. I know it's in him. I'm just waiting for him to see it too. Oh, the mercy in that. The grace. She's not looking for perfect. She's looking for present. She's looking for a man with conviction, not convenience. If you're listening now, and something inside you is burning, that's not shame. That's the voice of conviction. That's a chance. That's hope. Not all lost things are gone forever. Reach out. Speak up. Lay down your pride and pick up her hand. She is waiting, not for a perfect man, but for a real one. There are things she admits when you're not around, but she's praying one day she won't have to admit them at all. Because you'll already know, you'll already see, you'll already be there fully, completely, faithfully. God hears her when you don't. Now it's your turn. She doesn't raise her voice. She lowers her expectations. You may not notice the shift, but it happens slowly. Like a sunset you didn't realize was happening until darkness wrapped around the room. She keeps moving through the house, doing what needs to be done, checking the boxes of a daily life that now feels more like duty than desire. The meals still make it to the table, the kids are tucked in, the calendar is filled, and the photos on the wall still show two smiling faces. But when you're not around, when the noise dies down and she lets herself feel the weight of everything she won't say, she admits what she's been carrying. She feels invisible. Not unloved maybe, but unseen. Not hated, but unheard. Not alone in body, but lonely in spirit. And that's a pain deeper than silence. She speaks in silence. That's how most men miss it. They're listening for confrontation, for raised voices, for threats or ultimatums. But most confessions don't come as arguments. They come as resignation, as subtle retreat, as eyes that no longer light up when you walk in the room, as conversations that feel thinner, colder, shorter. She's not pulling away to punish you, she's protecting herself from the sorrow of hoping too long without return. The more she tried to explain her needs, the more it seemed like she was asking too much. So she stopped explaining, stopped asking. Not because she doesn't care anymore, but because it hurts too much to care and be ignored. And now, in the quiet moments when you're not around, when she sits on the couch with a blanket and stares into nothing, or journals in a notebook no one ever sees, she admits what she won't say aloud. I just want to feel like I matter again. You didn't notice it happening. That's not a fault, that's just the truth. But understand this, what a woman whispers to her own soul in your absence is often the clearest mirror of how she feels in your presence. She's not angry because you forgot her birthday. She's hurting because you forgot who she is. She's not distant because she's cruel. She's withdrawn because she feels like the space between you was already there, and she finally gave it a name. This doesn't make you a bad man, but it does mean you've been absent in ways that presence alone can't fix. And if she's still there, still trying, still hoping, then you've been given a grace you didn't earn, the chance to return before the doors of her heart close for good. She speaks in silence. She confesses without confrontation. She grieves while folding laundry and waits while brushing her hair. What she admits when you're not around could break you, or it could wake you. And that's the truth most never hear, because they never stay still long enough to listen. She's not just asking for help. She's yearning for something far deeper than the tasks left undone or the errands running late. What she truly wants is your presence. Not merely your physical presence, but your heart, your mind, your full attention. There is a vast difference between a man who returns home after a long day and is physically there, and a man who comes home and brings his entire self, his thoughts, his emotions, his love. Too often a man thinks that by showing up, by being in the same room, he has fulfilled his duty. But she knows better. When you're not around, in the quiet moments when she is alone with her thoughts, she confesses the ache of emptiness, the longing for a connection that goes beyond the surface. She tells the silent corners of the room, I wish he would look at me, not just glance or nod, but really see me. It's a painful truth because it exposes a kind of loneliness that is invisible to many. She may be surrounded by family, by noise, by activity, but still feel utterly alone because her soul is craving acknowledgement and intimacy. The meals prepared, the laundry done, the daily routines carried out. These things matter, but they are not enough. What she really needs is the feeling that she is not just a list of chores or a background character in the story of your life. She needs to be the leading lady, the partner, the beloved, who is cherished for who she is, not just what she does. When you are truly present, when your eyes meet hers and your heart listens without distraction, you give her something far more valuable than any material gift. You give her yourself. Too many times, men underestimate this need for presence. They fill their hours with work, with distractions, with screens, and when they come home, they collapse into exhaustion. She understands fatigue. She feels it too. But what she can't endure is the invisible barrier between you, the distance created not by miles, but by disengagement. When you're not fully there, she feels it. It's as if there is a wall between you that you don't even see, but she can't help but touch every day. She's not asking for perfection, nor does she expect you to have all the answers. She simply wants to know she matters, that her thoughts, her feelings, her presence are valued and welcomed. In those moments when you leave the room or the house, she admits quietly that what she misses most is not your absence, but the absence of connection. She wishes you would lay down your distractions, your worries, your busy schedules, and turn toward her with undivided attention. The warmth in her voice when she speaks of this need is tinged with hope, but also with the pain of having waited too long to be truly seen. And so she holds her silence close, fearing that if she speaks too loudly, she will be dismissed or misunderstood. Yet beneath that silence lies a resilient hope, a hope that the man she loves will wake up to this truth and choose presence over preoccupation. She longs for moments when you sit beside her, not just physically but spiritually and emotionally, sharing her burdens and joys alike. It's in those moments that the walls come down and true intimacy is born. For she knows deep in her heart that love is not simply about proximity, but about presence, being there wholly, for her, for the family, for the sacred bond you share. She admits in those quiet moments when you're not around that she is tired, not just physically, but deep down in her spirit. It's a weariness that no amount of rest can cure, because it's born not of the body but of the heart. She's tired of competing, not against other people, but against everything else in your life that seems to demand your attention more than she does. She's tired of being just one more thing on your list, one more voice competing with the noise of the world outside your door. Her longing is simple, but profound. To be your priority, not just your convenience. When she feels this way, she doesn't always say it outright, because sometimes words fall short or feel too risky. But in the spaces where you aren't, when the weight of silence settles, she confesses to herself that she wonders if she even matters enough to you to be placed first. She doesn't want to win a contest of attention, but she does want to know that when you choose where to invest your time and energy, she is not an afterthought. She watches as your phone pulls you away, as your work or hobbies or friends seem to fill every available moment. And in her heart, she quietly questions whether she is competing with a device, with deadlines, with distractions for a place in your life. It's not about jealousy. It's about the need for connection and affirmation that she still holds a place of honor in your world. She fears that if she stops trying, if she ceases to demand your attention, you might simply drift away without even noticing. This competition for attention is exhausting. It drains her hope and dulls her joy. She wants to believe that you see her, that you know her worth beyond the surface tasks she performs or the roles she fills. But when she is left feeling like a background player, it chips away at her self-esteem and her trust in the relationship. What she admits when you're not around is that this feeling of being second best or less important makes her wonder if the love you promised is still alive, or if it has faded beneath the busyness and distractions. Yet, even with this weariness, she doesn't give up. There's a quiet strength in her that keeps her holding on, hoping for a moment when you will look up, really look at her, and see the woman who has been waiting patiently in the wings. She's waiting for the day when she can stop competing for your time, because she is no longer second in your heart, but the first thought on your mind. That hope is fragile but fierce, and it's what keeps her showing up, even when the silence between you feels loud. When you're not around, she admits this struggle to herself, but she also prays. She prays for patience, for understanding, for a love that is active, not passive. She prays that you will awaken to the quiet longing in her heart, that you will hear what has been unsaid, and that you will choose her again, not out of obligation, but out of desire. This is the confession she holds close, a secret longing that yearns to become a shared reality. She admits, when you're not around, that she remembers everything you have forgotten, the little moments, the small gestures, the words left unspoken that pile up like dust in the corners of her heart. She remembers the birthdays that slipped past without a card or call, the anniversaries that went by unnoticed, the times she waited for a compliment that never came. These things may seem small to you, easily overlooked in the rush of daily life, but to her they are the threads that weave the fabric of love and respect. When those threads unravel, the whole tapestry begins to fray. She carries these memories quietly, like invisible wounds, and they shape the way she feels about herself and about the relationship. She holds on to the hurt of those forgotten moments because they speak to a deeper longing, a longing to be seen, to be valued, to be cherished, not just in grand declarations but in the everyday. She remembers how it felt the last time you truly looked at her with admiration, how it warmed her soul when you noticed the effort she put into the little things. And she also remembers the opposite, the times when your attention was elsewhere, when your eyes glazed over or your mind seemed far away. These memories are not just about what you did or didn't do. They are about what she felt in those moments, important, dismissed, loved, or neglected. When you're not around, she may whisper these memories to herself or to a trusted friend, hoping to find understanding or comfort. She tells the quiet spaces about the time you forgot to say thank you after a long day, or the way your tone sounded indifferent when she shared something important. She remembers because these moments build the foundation of trust and intimacy, or when neglected, they weaken it. Every forgotten detail chips away at the confidence she once had in the relationship, and over time, that accumulation of small neglects can feel like a canyon growing wider and deeper. But her remembering is not just about pain, it is also about hope. She remembers the good times, the moments of laughter and connection, the times when you did notice and made her feel like the most important person in your world. She holds on to those memories as proof that the love she longs for is possible, that the man she chose can be the man who truly sees her. In the silence, when no one else is listening, she admits this duality. Her heart aches from the forgotten moments, but it also beats with the hope of being remembered once again. This remembering is a silent testimony to her faith in the relationship, even when it feels fragile. It is a plea for attention not as a demand, but as a need deeply rooted in love. When you're not around, she admits that these memories weigh on her, shaping how she approaches each day, each conversation, each moment you share. They remind her that love is not just about grand gestures, but about the consistency of small acts, remembering the little things, honoring the daily efforts, and never taking for granted the precious person beside you. She admits, when you're not around, that beneath her quiet exterior there still burns a resilient hope, a hope that refuses to be extinguished, no matter how many times she feels overlooked or misunderstood. This hope is not born of naivety or blind optimism, but of a deep conviction that love, true love, has the power to heal, restore, and transform. Even in the face of disappointments and unmet expectations, she holds on to the belief that the man she loves is capable of change, capable of stepping into the fullness of what a relationship could be. This hope is like a flickering candle in a dark room, fragile yet persistent, offering light and warmth even when the surrounding shadows threaten to overwhelm. She admits this hope when she's alone, when she allows herself to dream quietly, without fear of judgment or rejection. She prays in the stillness that the walls of silence between you will crumble, that the distance grown between your hearts will be bridged, not by chance but by intention. She longs for the day when the broken pieces of your connection can be gathered and repaired, when the misunderstandings and disappointments will give way to forgiveness and understanding. This hope is a powerful force. It sustains her through moments of loneliness and fuels her desire to keep trying, to keep believing that renewal is possible. What makes this hope so profound is that it is not passive. It is not a waiting in despair, but an active holding on, a quiet courage to believe in the potential for something better. She does not want to give up, even when the road seems long and the journey difficult. She wants to be heard, seen, and valued, not just for who she is now, but for the woman she longs to become in partnership with you. In her heart, she knows that healing requires both of you to come together with humility, with open hearts, and with a willingness to listen and grow. This hope is a sacred gift she guards carefully because it is tied to her dignity and her faith in love's power. When you're not around, she admits that this hope is sometimes accompanied by fear that it may go unfulfilled, fear that the distance will become permanent, fear that the love she still holds might one day be lost. But even with that fear, she chooses hope. She chooses to believe that you are not beyond redemption, that the love you once shared can be rekindled, and that together you can create a future marked by understanding, respect, and deep connection. In this confession lies the heart of her enduring commitment, the reason she continues to invest in a relationship that sometimes feels fragile. It is this hope that calls you to wake up, to see her, to respond not with complacency, but with renewed love and effort. She waits, not for perfection but for realness. She hopes not for ease but for earnestness. And in that hope, there is the promise of a new beginning, if only you will reach out and take her hand. She admits, in the quiet moments when you're not around, that it's not too late. Not too late to heal the wounds, not too late to rebuild. the bridges that have been worn thin by neglect and misunderstanding. There is a deep well of forgiveness within her, a grace that quietly says, "I am willing to try again if you are." She carries within her the hope that what has been broken can be made whole, that what has been lost can be found once more. This is not blind hope, nor is it empty optimism. It is a courageous act of faith, rooted in the belief that love is stronger than mistakes, stronger than time, stronger than silence. When you're not around, she confesses this hope to herself in whispers and prayers, asking for strength to keep her heart open, to keep believing even when disappointment threatens to close the door. She knows that relationships are not perfect, that they require effort, humility, and sometimes painful honesty. But she also knows that if both hearts are willing, the journey toward restoration is always possible. She dreams of the day when the walls between you will come down, when the distance will be replaced by closeness, when conversations will be filled with understanding instead of silence. Her hope for restoration is a call, not just for you to change, but for both of you to grow together, to learn to listen deeply, to forgive freely, and to love more fully. She wants to believe that the mistakes of the past do not have to define the future, that the patterns of neglect can be broken, and that new habits of kindness and attention can be formed. In her heart, she carries the vision of a relationship reborn, where both of you are fully present, fully committed, and fully connected. This hope also carries with it a vulnerability, a willingness to be seen and loved in spite of imperfections. She admits that she is waiting, not for a perfect partner, but for a real one, a man who will meet her in the messiness of life with compassion and courage. She longs for the day when the quiet admissions she makes when you're not around will no longer be necessary, because the love between you will be loud, clear, and undeniable. In this hope for restoration, there is power to heal wounds, to rebuild trust, and to renew love. It is a sacred invitation to step into the fullness of what your relationship can be. And though the path may not be easy, she is ready to walk it if you are willing to take the first step alongside her. So, what she admits when you're not around is not just a collection of quiet hurts or hidden complaints. It's a heartfelt plea for connection, presence, and love that goes deeper than the surface of daily life. It is a reminder that beneath the routines, beneath the silence, there is a woman longing to be seen, heard, and valued for all that she is. She carries hope, even in her weariness, hope that the love you share can be renewed and restored if only you choose to truly show up, not just in body but in heart and soul. The invitation before you is clear: to listen, to see, and to cherish her with the fullness she deserves. Because when you do, you don't just save a relationship, you honor a soul. And that, my friends, is the greatest calling of all.